Welcome back to From the Shed, and tonight is personal. Liam Rosenior is heading back to Hull City as the Chelsea manager. It is time for him to show Hull why he should be Chelsea head coach. Now, we know that we are not going to go into this one off the back of that Leeds performance in the same fashion. This is Hull in the FA Cup. We know that Marc Cucurella is out injured. Will Reece James start? There's a lot to unpick in this live stream, so make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. Leave your thoughts if you're here part of the live stream. Make sure you're hitting the live, getting into the chat, all of that stuff. Now, we're playing Hull City FA Cup, the MKM Arena, or whatever you want to call it these days. I'm sure it was called something else when I used to watch Hull. But look, this is Hull City. This is Hull City. This is a team that we can't just think because it's Hull that they're going to be able to we're going to be able to just walk them away. This is Hull City. Okay, this is Hull City that are fourth in the championship. And I'll be honest, I've been watching a couple of videos from people today, yesterday, and I feel like there's still, I'll be honest, I feel like there's still this kind of thing with Chelsea fans that just because we're Chelsea that we should go and smash Hull City. Hull City are they haven't won their last two. I think they drew one and lost one. I think they lost to Bristol City. But this is Hull that are fourth with Ollie McBurnie that's got, I think, 12 goals this season. Gelhardt in the team. Josh Egan in the back line as well. This is a team that will not just make things very, very easy for us tonight. So, look, we've got a lot to unpick. We're going to do the match preview, predicted lineup, all that's for tonight. But there are things I want to talk about beforehand because there's one player that I've been talking about on these streams. I'm just going to turn the mic down a little bit. I feel like we're coming out a bit too high. But yeah, there's a couple of things I want to pick off beforehand. And the first one, you must believe my shock when I come back home after a busy day yesterday to see this. Raheem Sterling has signed a deal with Feyenoord. This is the same Raheem Sterling, let's not forget, the same Raheem Sterling that said he didn't want to leave the UK, didn't want to, leave his family behind. This is the Raheem Sterling that said that, I'm going to post a picture of me at 8 p.m. at Cobham so everyone feels sorry for me. The same Raheem Sterling that's just walked away, pocketed 22 million in payout for the rest of his contract at Chelsea. This is the same Raheem Sterling that has not kicked a football for us all season. This is greed. And it goes back to my original point that we missed out on top key targets because of players like Raheem Sterling on the books. £325,000 a week. I always question whether we got this deal done very early on. Say deal, if we got him off the books, could we've got a deal done for a striker? But Raheem Sterling moves to Feyenoord on a free transfer for 6 months, I think, working with Robin van Persie. I question, the question I want to ask in the chat, actually, did we were we too rash on Sterling in terms of not keeping him in the team? Should we have kept him in the team? You're looking at the options that we've got now, and the sort of the squad that we've got, especially when we do our predicted lineup, you'll see that we are kind of thin on the ground, especially for our wingers. But should we have kept him, especially knowing that Tariq George is going to leave as well? Big up Daniel in the chat. I hope Rosenior does not rotate too much, and I hope he just makes a few changes, because if Rosenior rotates too much, I see it being a tough game. I agree 100%. The thing we'll talk about Hull in a minute, but yeah, the thing that worries me about this team, about Hull, is that basically I've been watching a lot of Chelsea streams the last couple of days. I'm gonna just say George Benson, the one this morning that sticks in the mind because I watched it this morning. But it's almost like a given that we're just gonna go and beat Hull City. Like it's a given. Like this is the same team, remember, that couldn't beat Leeds at Ellen Road, couldn't beat Leeds at Stamford Bridge, couldn't beat Arsenal. An Arsenal team that didn't even play that well in 2 legs against us in the Carabao Cup. This is a team that hasn't beaten certain teams that we should have beaten this season. That struggled against Lincoln City. I think we struggled against Charlton. Cardiff City in the cup as well. So, look, yes, we should beat Hull City 100%. There's no ifs or buts about it. We should beat Hull City with ease. But it's not going to be an easy game at all. And I'm going to go into detail as to why in this live stream as well. But yeah, it's not going to be an easy game. Daniel's saying every time we rotate, we play bad because the squad depth is not good enough. 100%. 100%. Needs to be better. Needs to be better. It needs to be a lot better, actually, to be fair. But let's get into some of the press conference. I missed the press conference yesterday. These sort of 48 hours before kickoff press conferences, they throw me off. Like I'm used to like the day before the game and all the rest of it. So the press conference was on Wednesday, actually. It wasn't even yesterday, it was Wednesday. Let's get into some of the news before we get into the preview. Let's go back a couple of days. I didn't even see the press conference, so I don't know whether he's been... Obviously, we know that Rosenior loves to be a bit more... He loves to be very positive in the press conference. It's not a bad thing. Rosenior's press conferences, him being positive, is not a bad thing. But for me personally, I like to see my head coach, my manager, just talk with the... I don't know, just talk about the team, talk about our team. Let's go back to Wednesday. So he's saying here that Marc Cucurella, it's too early to know. Obviously, Marc Cucurella, for anyone that doesn't know, Marc Cucurella, I think, picked up a hamstring injury half-time against Leeds midweek Tuesday. So he looks like he could be out for a while, to be fair. I think, look, João Heto's there. We know that Gusto's played left-back, which is not the most sort of wise option, but we know that we've got him there. So... yeah, I mean, this goes back to the point that we've kind of ran Marc Cucurella into the ground. And that was one of the worries when you look at, again, people have said it in the chat, I think, the depth that we don't have in certain areas. But he's out for tonight's game anyway. So it says here that he's definitely out against Hull. We're doing scans and assessments. Reece trained, modified. I read that bit. I did see that flash up the other day, actually. What does that mean, modified? Is it just mean that he's away from I'm assuming it means he's away from the main group. He's still under the weather. I mean, hasn't he been sick for like a week? Like, what's going on? So anyway, it says that he's going to make a decision on Reece James before the game, which was obviously yesterday. He made that decision, so we'll see. I personally wouldn't want to see Reece James play tonight. Look, the only player, and I know there's been, again, I've seen predicted lineups, and there's a lot of people saying maybe put Reece James in midfield. I'll be honest, I think we got to go with a strong midfield and a consistent one. And that's going to have either Enzo or Moises Caicedo in there. What else did he say? What else did Rosenior say? So he's a balanced view. 99% of the games, was it what we want to see in terms of with and without the ball, defending set plays, energy, courage. It was very good. Yeah, we switched off. I agree with that. We switched off in that Leeds game a lot, way too much. Hey, look, this is the bit I was going to say. I knew this was coming. The praise for Hull City. And I get it. He's got the sentiment. He's got the sort of, the connection to the club. But yeah, the Chelsea head coach now, Liam Rosenior, you haven't got time to be going down memory lane for Hull City. But he does go on to say that Hull City is very special. My grandma was a season ticket holder. I've got family coming up. The club means a lot to me for many reasons. Hopefully we can put on a good show. No, forget the good show. Let's get through to the next round. No one cares about Thomas Frank's exit at Spurs. It's a tough game. I want to do well in this competition. I don't see any different to a Premier League or Champions League game. That's a positive. That's a very positive thing for him to say. We will go there with the team I think we can win the game with. We will take it seriously. I mean, do you know, when I was growing up, the FA Cup was actually more important than the winning the league. Some of you lot in the chat after this live stream, as part of this live stream, probably will not remember this, but the FA Cup was like the pinnacle of the season. If you won the FA Cup, you was spoken about more than if you won the league title. So for him to say, we'll take it seriously, you should be taking it. This should be treated like a Premier League or a Champions League game tonight. This is no walk in the park. especially the fact we're at the Carabao Cup now as well, and we're looking very unlikely to win the Champions League or the Premier League. So this is our only chance of silverware this season. Liam Rosenior here saying it didn't matter who was on the pitch in defence for versus Leeds. We should have dealt with the situation 110%. I'm still having flashbacks of that game, the defensive mistakes of that Leeds game. It was mental. And then the Cole Palmer miss to add to that as well. Absolute mental. This is promising. Mamadou Sarr has a great chance to start. It's very difficult to move clubs in January. He knows me very well. He's been here for a week, so he needs to bed in. To bed into what? What does he need time to bed into? He's in a really good place. He will definitely see the pitch at some point on Friday. He has to not see the pitch. He has to start from the very start of the game. For me, Mamadou Sarr. Yeah, I just don't get it. Reece James is involved in training yesterday as well. Some positives to take from that. But again, I wouldn't start him. Tosin trained fully for the first time on Wednesday, so this game might come a little too soon. But we'll make the judgment with the medical team. Another big question mark. I know the medical team's got a job to do. So, but the fact that he keeps saying, "Well, you as the head coach, as the manager, what you want to call him, he should have the final say on whether his player is going to be able to play or not." And the medical team can give you the advice, but ultimately the decision's down to the coach whether he plays him or not. Philip Jurgensen is not fully fit at the moment. He's working really hard on his rehab. Teddy Sharman-Lowe has shown me really good things in training. I reckon he'll be on the bench. I think Teddy Sharman-Lowe's on the bench tonight. I think he's the second choice for us now. I think Jurgensen, I know that again, there's a lot of people that had Jurgensen as their keeper for tonight, but yeah, look, Sanchez for me has been probably one of our best players this season. And that's not me trying to sugarcoat how bad the season's been, but he's been one of our best players this season. He's kept us in the game in moments in games before this. I'm sure he'll do that tonight as well, because Hull will get chances. They will get chances. At this club, you need to win every game. You need to be in every competition. There doesn't need to be a conversation about that. That's clear. It's a massive tie. It's key for the players to rest, recover, recuperate, for tactical things to happen on the training pitch in the build-up to the Burnley game. Yeah, I was thinking about this morning as well, because we've played 3 games in 6 days. We played Saturday, we played Tuesday, and we're playing Friday. That's nuts. That's nuts. That's nuts that we're playing that many games in a short space of time. So I personally would not go with a rotated squad tonight. I really wouldn't. Hull have won one of their, I don't want to read this out loud because I feel like I'm going to jinx it, but I've started. But Hull have won one of their last 35 games against Chelsea in all competitions. They've drawn 8 and lost 26. And their last win was 3-0 in 1988. Now that I've read that out, you know what's going to happen tonight, don't you? You know what's going to happen tonight. You know what's going to happen tonight. Chelsea have progressed from all 8 of their FA Cup ties against Hull City. It's a joint best 100% progress rate by a team against another in the FA Cup history, along with Leicester City against Birmingham City as well. Chelsea have progressed from 62 of their last 64 FA Cup ties from outside the Premier League. Although both defeats this run have been against Yorkshire teams, one against Barnsley, I remember that vividly, the 1-0. And then 4-2. Yeah, you can remember the 4-2 against Bradford City. That was a mess of a game. Enzo has got to start tonight. Got to start tonight. He's got to start. He's got to start Enzo. For me personally, he's got to start Enzo. Yeah, I don't know. I think this is a game that, if we're being honest, it's not going to be easy. Cucurella was not going to play this game anyway. Just hope he's fit for Arsenal away. I don't think he will be. I think if it's a hamstring injury, well, when do we play Arsenal? When do we play them? Isn't that like in a couple of weeks? I'm sure that's in a couple of weeks, is it not? Let's find out. Let's get the games up. Let's get the fixtures up on here. Pretty sure we play Arsenal in the next couple of weeks. We went through this the other day. Yeah, 1st of March. 1st of March. I don't think Cucurella, if it's a hamstring injury, I don't think Cucurella is back for that. I really don't. I don't think Cucurella is going to be back. We've got we've got Burnley next week, next Saturday. And then we got Arsenal. I'll be surprised if Marc Cucurella is back. That's only 2.5 weeks away. So I can't see that being a thing. I really can't. Then we got Villa 3 days later or 2 days later after that. The only good thing, well, is it a good thing? I was going to say, is it a good thing? Because we've got an international break in between the Villa and the Newcastle game. And then we play Everton. Tough games, March. Tough games. This is the real test. I said that the acid test was the Carabao Cup for Rosinio, but if he gets through tonight he should get through. I mean, look, I've just read out a stat. They've only won one game, 1988. Beat us 3-0. Burnley. We should beat Burnley at Stamford Bridge. I'm not even having that. This Arsenal game, these two games here, we've got to get 6 points. We've got to get 6 points. I don't care about Arsenal. Arsenal are beatable. You see what Brentford done to them yesterday. They can be you can get to them. You can get to Arsenal. I've been saying this. If you play them at their own game, you can get to Arsenal 100%. Aston Villa, tough game. Villa Park's not an easy, it's a horrible ground to go to. Evening game as well, middle of the week. 2 days after you played Arsenal. It's going to be a tough game. It's going to be absolutely, so those 2 games there for our season are crucial, because then you go into look at that. You go into these mad games here. Brighton, Forest will have a new manager by then. Liverpool, Tottenham will have a new manager by then. Sunderland away. Oh, man, it ain't. Top 4's not looking good, is it? Because you remember, we spoke about this on one of the videos that we did, but if we don't, it's all well and good. The teams we've played, we should beat them. Even tonight, we should beat Hull. Liam Rosinio, his record so far looks good. It looks good. In fact, let's look at it. Let's look at his results. They look good on paper. But as I keep saying to people, I was talking about this to someone yesterday. His results on paper look very, very good. Yeah, they look good. Yeah, they look good. When did he come in? He came in for this Charlton game, didn't he? So look, 5-1 against Charlton. 3-2 against Arsenal. You're losing that. Yeah, okay, we didn't play our best football. Brentford, we beat them, but to be fair, if I remember correctly, it wasn't even like a 2-0 game. Paphos, we should have beat them more than 1-0. I think we hit a good time in this game, the Palace game. The Napoli game was difficult, but it showed determination, so I was impressed with that. I think that shouldn't have been a 3-2 game, but it was, and we had to come back and fight for the end. I think it was Enzo, wasn't it? The Enzo goal near the end. Then we defeat to Arsenal, and then we were playing bottom of the league Wolves, and even that game wasn't really anything to scream about. So, then Leeds. Then we drew to Leeds. So, you look at those games, I'm more disappointed that we didn't beat Leeds. I'm disappointed that we didn't play better against Arsenal in the second leg. I'm disappointed that was a 3-2. And I'm disappointed about the Paphos game. So Rosinio hasn't had a proper test. That test is coming up. The test comes up here. This is the test for Rosinio. Arsenal, Aston Villa, Newcastle, Everton. Then you got these other games here. Liverpool to play, Tottenham to play, Forest to play, Sunderland last game of the season. It's not looking good. It's not looking good for us at all. And this is why I go back to the point of tonight is important. Tonight is massive. It's absolutely massive tonight, because if we don't win, I don't know. Not confident if Hato played at left back. I don't want to rely on a 19-year-old away at Arsenal. And I think Hato comes under a lot of scrutiny, and I think he's actually a decent player. But I'm going to sprinkle a bit of, he hasn't had enough run of games for me for us to actually see if he can play a consistent as a consistent left back in our team. We haven't seen that from him. So I think he's a good player. A very good player. Yeah, I just don't know. I think the whole reason we brought him in is to be the backup to Cucurella. So now is the time to, if Cucurella is out for a long period of time, it is for us to sort of give him the test, see what he can do. Because I think he's I think he's a good player. I think we need a rebuild in our defense. If we have experience against Leeds, we would have won the game. Nah, again, that goal that we conceded to Leeds, my son's team, he's 8. My son's team would do better defending that ball. I've never seen a bunch of grown men stand around, watch the ball, watch it go past everyone, see that Josh Achiampong's struggling to clear the ball. Sanchez is scrambling on the floor. I think he probably gives away a foul in between all of that. That experience goes out the window for those kind of goals. That is just lack of concentration and expectation that the ref's going to blow his whistle. You could have, I don't think even an experience, to me personally, that doesn't fit into the experience thing. I agree that we need more experienced players because long term, across the season, we're conceding stupid goals, but that is just lapse of concentration and sort of just being stupid. These are professional players. They played at the top level. They're playing at the top level of English football. So if they can't defend in that way, that's just stupidity. That's we've seen Chalobah put in brilliant performances. We've seen Wesley Fofana do that at times. So yeah, I don't know. I can't. I don't think for me. It's not about just the experience in that situation against Leeds. That was more about just being stupid and expecting the referee to blow the whistle. But yeah, it's. But I agree. I think we definitely need some. We need some experienced defenders across the season. 100%. Let's look at Hull City a bit. As I said, this is Hull City. This is Hull City. That are currently, I think they're 4th. Are they not 4th? Let's have a look. I feel like Hull City are 4th in the Championship. They've scored 50 goals, although they've conceded 43. They could still catch Coventry. Could catch Coventry in that second automatic playoff place, or automatic promotion place. But this is what I wanted to highlight, because look at this. This is what I was trying to say. Ollie McBurnie, 12 goals, 5 assists. You got Gelhardt here. Was he from Leeds? Joe Gelhardt. Is that the one from Leeds? I feel like he played for Leeds. Look, 10 goals, 3 assists. They play 5 at the back, I think, as well. Pretty sure they play 5 at the back. So that, again, that's going to be difficult for us. You got Lundstrom as well. I think he was at Rangers, wasn't he, at some point? Yeah, he was at Rangers. Then, he went to Trabzonspor, Sheffield United. So, look, this is going to be a physical game. A physical game. And this is probably why I personally would not have Reece James in the midfield. But you can see they get assists from the wide areas. The 2 wing backs, they get an assist. One's got 8. He's got 4. They got goals amongst the 3 of them at the front as well. Carl Joseph has got 7 goals, 2 assists. So this is not going to be a game. This is why when I'm looking and I'm seeing, people say, we should beat Hull, we should beat them. But looking at this here, looking at the form that they're in as well, okay, they've lost to Bristol City, and they drew with Watford, but they're showing you that they're not afraid to score goals. They're showing you that they can get goals. And that's my worry. My worry is that we go into this with that mentality of that we'll just beat them. That's my worry. And I'll be honest, I don't think Liam Rosenior can afford to lose this game. I really don't. And I think if we're going into this game with the mentality of some of the fans and some of the things I've been watching this morning and last night, with some of these Chelsea fans are saying that we could just walk over them. Look, it's never I think the Championship is harder to play in than the Premier League. That's what I think. That's what I think. I think the Championship is harder to get out. It's harder to get promoted. It's just hard. It's difficult. You have to be a good team in the Championship. And look at that. I mean, it tells you already from, let's say from Millwall down, all the way down. Let's add Queen's Park, maybe throw a Stoke in there. All of those teams can get promoted or get into the playoffs to get a chance to get promoted. So it tells you how good you've got to be. Tells you how good you've got to be. Apart from Sheffield Wednesday, -7, flipping hell. But Hull City are not a team to be. They're not a team to be messed around with. They're just not. They're just not. They're just not a team to be messed around with. They're a very, very good team. Very good team. Like I don't understand where this sort of I mean, look at that. They're just washing teams away. They're just washing teams away. Okay, yeah, they lost to Stoke. They drew to Sheffield Wednesday. You're gonna get those kind of games. But even they're beating the likes of Wrexham. I remember watching them early on in the season against Coventry, and they gave them a game. I think they went on to lose it in the end, but they gave them a game. And look, look, you can even see from here, they picked up a lot of good form. Was it November? Yeah, November they started to pick up some form. December, January, sorry. And then it's only these 2 games here where you think they've kind of fell off a little bit, but they'll be up for the game. 100% they're going to be up for that game tonight. 100%. 100% they're going to be up for this game. They're going to be up for the game. We have to match them. We have to match them. Now, this is FootMob's predicted lineup here. They've gone with Sanchez, Gusto, Achiampong, Chalobah. Obviously, we know Cucurella is not playing, so this is why you never go to FootMob, because they always get things wrong. But Caicedo and Santos, Esteval, Palmer, Fernandez on the left. I mean, what's with this fascination of playing Fernandez on the left? Because he played there a little bit against Leeds, and he played against it was against the Arsenal, wasn't it, in the second leg? Like, what is the fascination? I know we're low on wingers, which is why I brought up Raheem Sterling at the very start of this, but what is the fascination playing him there? Why is the fascination playing him there? I just don't get it. I don't get it. I'm gonna put up our predicted lineup in a minute, but João Pedro, does he need to start this game? Does João Pedro need to start this game? What do people think? Does he need to start the game? Because I personally wouldn't start him. I wouldn't start João Pedro. I wouldn't start João Pedro at all in this game. At all, actually. We have some great players. Those games are winnable. They just have to stay fit and negate stupid mistakes. Yeah, but Leeds. Leeds. That's all I'm going to say, Leeds. We should beat them when we couldn't beat them. We were 2-0 up, actually. So it's even worse. It's even worse. But I agree. We've got some good players in the team. Not confident. Yeah, agree with that. I do agree. Apart from, yeah, look, we'll have to see how we can get on Heto. Liam is a puppet. Yeah. Yeah, I think look, with Rosinio, I think if he can get through that difficult March period, then yeah, 100%. I think he's got to be given the time anyway. I think he's going to get time. And I'll be honest, I'm not entirely like disappointed with Liam Rosinio. I think Liam Rosinio actually, as much as I've just said he hasn't had the real tests, but you still have to beat the teams that are in front of you. You still have to go and beat Charlton. You still have to go and beat Napoli away as well. That's a massive game. Like some other teams would struggle at that in that fixture. You still have to put up a fight against West Ham and get those points. But these sort of games tonight for me as well are huge. They're absolutely huge, and he has to play well. Let's go for our predicted lineup. Let's go for what we think we should. Oh well, this is what I think we should go with. I want to let me know in the chat what you think. So I've gone with what Hull went with last time, with their lineup. Who we going with in goal? I think I already know. He's like, it can't be Sharman Low. We know that Jurgensen's out. Slanina, I think, isn't even in the picture. So it has to be Robert Sanchez in goal for us tonight. Has to be Robert Sanchez. I don't think we can go with anyone else but Sanchez in this game. I think Sanchez has improved massively. When you think back to how he was throughout the start of his career at Chelsea, he's definitely improved 100%. Now, we know that Reece James has been training, but does he start? Does Reece James start tonight? Do we give Reece James a run out? What's everyone thinking in the chat? I don't think we do. I don't think we give Reece James a run out. I think and this is another thing I was hearing on a lot of live streams this morning and YouTube videos, is that we've got a break. We don't play now for a week, but I think people are forgetting we've played Saturday, we played Tuesday, and we've played Friday. So the last thing we need to do is overcomplicate the lineup by forcing players back into it too early. So do we need to force Reece James to play in this game? I know he hasn't played against Leeds beforehand, but I'm just thinking in terms of, do we need to rush him back? If he's not 100%, I personally think, and I'm going to stick with this, I know we didn't have the best of games for the reason of the goal being conceded against Leeds, but I'm going with Josh. I'm going to go with Josh Ashempong as a right back. Obviously, we've got Malo Gusto, but look, this, as much as I've bigged up Hull City, and I'm going to say two things. As much as I've bigged up Hull City, it is still Hull City, and we are still Chelsea, and we should still beat them. I just don't think it's going to be as convincing and as easy as some other Chelsea fans think. But I think with Josh as well, we get to see him drive higher up with the ball. And as much as Gusto does it, when Gusto gets into these positions, that cross is never coming in. That cross never comes in. Never comes in. Josh will get here. I'm expecting the balls to come into there. When it's Gusto, you just don't know whether the ball's going to come in. Does the ball go here? Sometimes the ball ends up over here. Sometimes it ends up here. Sometimes it ends up all the way here. Like, you just don't know with Gusto. So I think for me, Josh Ashempong has to be in the team. And let's not like bash Josh Ashempong, because before the Leeds game, 75%, maybe 80% of Chelsea fans were praising him for everything he's done at the club. So players are going to make mistakes. Now, who are we going for as our back line? Who are we going for as our defensive line? Because I'm thinking Chalobah. And I'm thinking we need to see debutant of the season so far, Mamadou Sarr, has to come into this team. Now, he's a left-sided centre-back. I think it's going to be a physical game. I can't see Liam Rosenior, unless we are 5-0, 4-0, which I don't personally think is going to happen. Unless we're smashing Hull to that point, I don't think Liam Rosenior is going to be comfortable swapping his centre-backs in this game tonight. So whoever those two centre-backs are, because it's going to be difficult. I've just shown you the stats from McBurnie and Joseph and Gelhardt as well. It's going to be a difficult. These three here are going to make it absolutely difficult for our back line tonight. They're going to make it absolutely difficult for the back line of our players tonight, because they're going to be camped. I mean, look, I haven't watched Hull for a while this season, but I would expect them not to sit off, and they're going to be causing havoc. Gelhardt, your man, McBurnie, double up. Because Ollie McBurnie, I remember from Sheffield United. I'm sure he's at Sheffield United as well. And he's a very, very good striker. Very good striker. In fact, I'm going to go as far as to say I think he's scored a couple of goals against us as well. But yeah, Achempong for me, Trevor Chalobah, Mamadou Sarr has to play left centre-back. And then I'm going to go with João Heto, which I think is probably by default. We know that Marc Cucurella is injured. So I'm going to go with João Heto. Now, I hear the shouts for Reece James in midfield. I do. And I'm not against it. We know he can play there. But this is going to be a physical midfield battle. Slater and Lundstrom in that midfield. Physical. Two physical players. And yes, Reece James is physical. He can go in there and do that. I personally think this is a game that Moises Caicedo sits out of. I think Moises Caicedo sits out of this for two reasons. One, you're going to see why when I pick my striker in a minute, why I don't think we can have two players that love to play on the edge in our team tonight. I just don't. I think they'll be, like I said, it's going to be a physical game. I expect yellow cards, possibly a red card in this game. And if we've got two players that are always a flight risk, they're always running the risk of getting sent off in this game. And I'll be honest as well, I've been impressed with Andre Santos in the Leeds game especially. I thought he ran the midfield very well. So I'm putting him in the team first of all. Andre Santos comes in. And then I think I'm going to go with Enzo Fernandez in the midfield. And I think this is a game where you don't start Caicedo, but the luxury that you have now by picking this back six or the back four with the two in the midfield is you've got Reece James, you've got Moises Caicedo on your bench. You've got Malo Gusto on your bench. You have options, good options off the bench still. So I think Santos, who I think, again, played very well against Leeds. I think Enzo Fernandez for me, because I think he's more clinical in these areas here. I think he's more likely to score than Caicedo. And if I'm correct in what I think will happen, I don't think these two will venture too much forward. I think they will try and sit off and try and allow these three. I knew that was going to happen. These three here, like I said before, to play up. And these two here are going to try and stretch the play. And then you'll have Giles down here and Coyle, again, stretching the play. I actually think Hull City will try. They'll try their hardest to try and get the ball and be aggressive, get in our faces. I don't think, I'll be surprised if they sit off and try and do the low block thing against us. I personally think they'll go for it. I think they'll go for it tonight. I think they'll try and make it as aggressive, quick tempo as they can, put us off our rhythm. I might be wrong, completely wrong, but that's what I think they'll do. So I've gone with Santos, Fernandez in the midfield too. And this is where I'm going to probably surprise people, and I'm wondering what people are going to think in the chat, but I'm going to go something different because I think Cole Palmer, and I've said it a couple of weeks now, I don't think he's fully fit. And it goes back to what I said, this is our third game in the space of 6 days. I don't think we need Cole Palmer tonight. I actually don't think we need Cole Palmer. Option off the bench, yes, but do we need to start him? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think we need to start him. I would start Reggie Walsh. And this is the lineup I went with last night. It's on our socials and it's on the social accounts now, but I'll go with Reggie Walsh. Because I think this is a type of test. And maybe this is me being crazy and thinking, why would you throw him into like the Lions' den? Why would you throw him into a game which is a must-win game? But for me, there's no perfect time to throw Reggie Walsh or Mamadou Sarr into a game. Because you could wait until the Burnley game. Is that a good game? It's probably not. But I think we need to start utilising certain players. We know that Esteval can play off the left, but predominantly off the right. We know that Cole Palmer can play off the right, can play off the left as well, but again, predominantly off the right. So the reason I put Reggie Walsh in here, because I'm not in favour of having Enzo Fernandez on the left. And I think if the game is going against us in this game, and we are struggling to break down Hull, or they do sit back into a low block, or they score a goal and we then struggle to score our goal, then you have Cole Palmer on the bench. Then you have the likes of, well, let's do the team, but you'll see what I'm trying to do in a minute. I've gone with Esteval on the right. I think Esteval, perfect game for him. Perfect game for Esteval. I think if I'm correct in my thinking, and we've got girls running up here, I think this is gonna negate the fact that he'll be able to get as much forward as he can if Esteval's playing. Because Esteval, I think it was against Arsenal, wasn't it, in the second leg or the first leg? Sorry, the first leg of the Carabao Cup. He was immense in that game. He was immense in that game, and we know what Esteval was about. We know what he's not about getting the ball and then passing backwards at all, at all. He wants to drive forward with this ball. Wants to always get the ball. He wants to drive forward with it and get it into key areas of the pitch. So for me, look, surprised that I'm even having to justify why Esteval's playing against a championship team, but there will be people out there saying that Esteval needs to be rested, or we need to wrap him in cotton wool. We need to protect him. But this is a game where you can afford to make those tests. See how he gets on. If it doesn't work, then yes, you change it. But for me, Esteval has to start in this game 100%. Now, this is where it got tricky for me, because as much as I don't want to put this player in. I don't. And I agree with Theo in the chat. Reggie Walsh looked very, very comfortable in the Conference League last season, very unfazed. When he was coming up against Modric in pre-season as well, when we faced AC Milan. Could have another Billy Gilmore style game versus Liverpool in the FA Cup in 2020. So I'm going to go with Reggie Walsh because I think he's, for me, I want to see him in that key area and I want to see what he can do. And maybe this will be a sort of a test for him. Does he need to get a loan next season, next summer, before we integrate him into the first team? Does he need a loan? Maybe this will give us a bit of a benchmark to see how he does. You know, I know he's played a lot of sort of football, development football this season, but let's see if he can do it at this level, which is as against a championship team. Let's see how he gets on. Now I've gone with Pedro Neto, but very reluctantly because I don't think, for me, Pedro Neto, I don't know why I'm reluctant to put him in there because I think he's actually a really good player. I just think he hasn't shown the levels of when he was at the Club World Cup or even last season. You know, the back end of last season, the Club World Cup, he was just immense. He was probably our best player at the Club World Cup, and I just don't think he's shown that quality this season so far. And that might just because of number of minutes he's played, different style maybe from what Maresca wanted him to do. But I felt like this was here when Maresca was here as well. But maybe it's just a change of tactics slightly. I don't know what's happened to Pedro Neto, but I've gone with him instead of Garnacho, simply because I feel like Garnacho, I still have that West Ham game in my head. If I'm being honest, it's literally down to the West Ham game. And I feel sometimes Garnacho is the kind of player that you bring off the bench and he impacts it very well. I feel like he's I don't want to call him an impact sub, but I feel like he's one of those players that if you bring him off the bench, he's more likely to grow into the game very quickly. Whereas if he doesn't, then it's almost like it takes him almost like 45 minutes just to warm up. So I don't know how I feel. I don't know how I feel about the left side. The other reason why I went with Neto as well, again, I'm thinking about Coyle. If he does get forward, one thing I will credit Pedro Neto for is his energy to get back and help defend with Heto, who is going to need a lot of support tonight as well. Because I think, as I said, I think Hull will play with the wing backs. So if that is the case, then Neto more likely than Garnacho will trap back and help do that defensive work with Heto, as opposed to Garnacho, who is probably not as good at that and will probably leave Heto and Mamadou Sarr, who will be playing his first competitive game this season for us, leaving them exposed. I think it just makes sense to have someone who's a bit more got the energy to go up and down that wing to do that supportive role defensively as the attacking role as well. Now, my striker, there'll be thousands, millions of Chelsea fans that probably keep informed João Pedro in the team. And I actually feel crazy for putting Liam Delap in my starting lineup tonight. But if he can't do it against Hull City in the Championship, albeit that they're fourth and they're having a very good season, and he's got history by playing with them previously, if he can't do it tonight, unfortunately, my friend, you might have to find another club in the summer, because this is, I think a lot of Chelsea fans, when it comes to Liam Delap, they need to see more. Not even just like a justification of the price tag or anything like that, but, and I praised him. I remember praising him when he first joined the club and said he makes some really intelligent runs off the ball. You know, he opens up a lot of the space. I'm thinking back to, I feel like it was the game against West Ham. Was it the Friday night game? That was like the 5-0. I feel like that game, I feel like he was very intelligent in it. I might be wrong, but I feel like he was very intelligent in that game. And some of the runs he was making off the last defender, and he was just almost spreading the defensive line. He was allowing certain players to run in. I feel like it was Enzo. Again, memory's hazy today, but definitely Liam Delap is a very intelligent player. He just doesn't apply it to his football enough for us. And that's where I think a lot of the criticism comes from. We know that he's a good player because he's physical. In this game tonight, I think there has to be a level of just calmness in the team, because I think it will be a very physical game. But Delap up against Egan, potentially McNair and Hughes as well, he's got to keep his head up. He's got to keep his cool head on tonight, because if this is a good opportunity against a team that, yes, are playing very well in the championship, but it's an opportunity for him to get himself back in contention as to being a regular starter for us this season. But if he can't do it tonight, I don't know. I don't know what else. I mean, there are shouts for Marc Gui. Does Marc Gui get an opportunity tonight? He hasn't really played a lot of football this season, but Marc Gui is another option. I just think you need physicality in the box. I think you need someone who's... But when I say physicality, I don't mean punch him in the face, headbutt, throw him to the ground, be stupid. I'm on about just using your body well, standing on the goalkeeper for a corner. You know, we got to see Brentford do it yesterday to David Raya. Just use your intelligence. You must be intelligent to play at this level of football. So I would go with that lineup tonight. I would go with Sanchez, Achiampong, Chalobah, Sarr, Hato, Fernandez and Santos in the two in the midfield. I want to see Reggie Walsh in this team tonight. I want to see Reggie Walsh in the team. I think I watch him for a lot for the development team, and he's a very, very intelligent player. Very intelligent player. He's obviously, like Theo said in the chat, he's had minutes in the Conference League. I feel like he's played maybe 1 or 2 games in the men's team away from the Conference League as well. So I think he's got to be given an opportunity. And Liam Rosenior loves working with young players. Loves working with them. We've got a young squad as it is, but when I say young, I mean in terms of, you know, development squad. Look, he was there the other night against Man City on, I think, Monday, albeit it was a 4-0 drumming, but he's there. He's tuned into the development squad, Rosenior. So I think for me, Reggie Walsh, who's been on the bench a couple of times, has to start that game for me tonight. Give Cole Palmer the rest. And look, substitutions in the second half. Reece James can come on. Take off Reggie Walsh. You can bring in Cole Palmer. You can take off Liam Delap. You can bring in João Pedro. You could take off Santos. You could bring in Moises Caicedo if you need to. You can go a bit more stronger. I just think rest some of your players. As I said, 3 games in the space of 6 days is a lot. Yes, we've got a week off after this, but thinking how we've just had those 3 games, you need to make sure you don't rotate too much, but you definitely give your squad the opportunity to still win the game. But yeah, I just want to see us do a good performance tonight, a proper solid performance, even if it's rough and dirty, but we need to do something. We need to do something tonight because it's Valentine's weekend. We can't be stressed out. We can't be stressed out on Valentine's weekend. Big game for Liam Delap against his former club. Theo saying that in the chat. He's got it. I think Liam Delap, is it not last chance saloon, but it definitely feels like Liam Delap, if he can't do it against Hull City, where does he, like this Hull City, who are playing very, very well, but it's Hull City. This should be a very comfortable game for Liam Delap to at least get score a goal, make himself a nuisance in that defensive line for Hull. He's got to do something. So, yeah, I'm worried for the game because I think there's a lot of sort of over ambitious. Some fans are just thinking it's Hull. We'll just wash them away. I don't think we will. I really don't think we will. I think it's going to be a difficult game. I think it's going to be a game that we may struggle in. I don't know. I don't know what to think. The prediction I am going to go with, though, I think, what should we go? What should I go with? What do I think tonight? I think we'll score goals. I don't think it'll be easy. I think we'll concede. I think we concede a goal tonight against Hull. Near enough scoring 50 goals this season. Ollie McBurnie, header. I can see that happening easily. Set pieces are not our friend. I'm going to go 2-1. I'm going to go 2-1 Chelsea. I think they'll score. I think we'll probably score first. They might score late on in the second half. And then we'll score late into the game. Maybe with one of those subs. Maybe it's a Cole Palmer special. But Theo's gone 3-1 Hull in the chat. Who's the scorers though, Theo? Who's scoring those 3 goals for us? Is it a Liam Delap hat-trick? I know, yeah. Yeah, last time they beat us 3-0, 1988. Haven't beaten us since then. So, but I read that stat out earlier. I've read it out again. Things can happen. A lot's happened since 1988. A lot's happened. Yeah, I'm gonna go 2-1. Theo's gone 3-1 in the chat. I just want to see a good performance from Rosinio. I want to see him trust some of these players like Reggie Walsh, Hato. I want to see him bring Mamadou Sarr into the team. I want to see Liam Delap play well. I want to see that because we just spoke, someone said it in the chat earlier, that we haven't got the best depth in the squad. Yeah, I've said 2-1, but I don't think it's all about the depth. I think it's about the players that we've got now. They're on long contracts. Some of these players are on massive contracts. So we're stuck with them unless someone comes in and buys them, which is very unlikely for the likes of, Cole Palmer. I don't think many players are going to come in for him, but Enzo might go, Esteval might go, but this is our squad now. So we've got to back the squad. We have to back the squad 100%. Enzo Chalobah. I'd love Chalobah to get a goal. I'd love Chalobah to score a goal. Marc Gui. I know you went with Marc Gui. Theo went with Marc Gui as his striker, I think, if I remember correctly. So yeah, I'd love Chalobah to get a goal. Just to silence a bit of the noise. Last time we played them, Tomori and Batshuayi scored for us. A lot has changed since then. Where is Batshuayi now? Let's have a quick look. Where is he? Theo will know this already in the chat, but yeah, where is Batshuayi these days? I feel like I should know this as well. Oh, right, okay. He's at Frankfurt. I did not know that. How long has he been at Frankfurt for? Because yeah, the last I heard, wasn't it like, yeah, I did not know he was at Frankfurt. Let's see how he's getting on at Frankfurt. 16 appearances, 4 goals. He's been around. He's been around the block. Batshuayi has been around the block. Standard Liège, Marseille, Chelsea, Dortmund, Valencia, Palace twice, Besiktas, Fenerbahce, He's done the triple in Turkey. Galatasaray, Frankfurt. Yeah, he's been around. He's been around the block. And how old is he? He's got to be, what, 29, hasn't he? 29? 32. Yeah, he's been around the block. And yeah, he's done the Istanbul clubs, yeah, Besiktas, Fenerbahce, and Galatasaray. It's mental. Did not know that. But yeah, back to our game. Back to our game tonight. We gotta win. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, all of that stuff. Let's hope we get into the next round. Let's hope we can. I think it's criminal that we're on actually Friday night when there's other teams that potentially could play before us, but we are where we are. We've got a squad that I think we can put out to win the game. But subscribe, like the video. Let's hope we get through to the next round and enjoy it. Let's hope we can enjoy the weekend. And we'll be back soon.